Father, give us the story. First of all, tell us who the heck is Monsignor Mario Marini, and then tell us the relationship.
Well, I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell us.
The irony of Monsignor Mario Marini is that he never wanted to be known.
Isn't that? Yeah, wasn't he?
Right?
Yeah, he never was a bishop. No.
No, he didn't want to be.
Smart.
He turned that down two times that I know of, and probably more. Mm-hmm. They wanted to make him a bishop. Why did they want to make him a bishop? To get him out of the Vatican.
Ooh.
I remember I told you the promotion is elimination.
Yeah.
You to get rid of somebody, you promote them. Therefore, a lot of these people who are bishops and some of them who are cardinals and think they're the big deal should realize that many of them were made bishops and cardinals to get them out of the places they were before.
Can I give an example? Bugnini. Can I give that?
Be careful.
Yeah, no, I'm going to give his example because he ended up going to Iran, to a diocese that had like 16 Catholics.
That's right.
I'm being a little, I'm exaggerating.
No, but that's the idea.
Okay, I get it.
Promote him to something greater. So something greater was to become a nuncio.
Ah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a bigger step than being in charge of the liturgy. Being a nuncio is a big deal. So they made him nuncio to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Right. So they got rid of him. Unfortunately, far too late.
Yeah,
but that's another story.
That's another story.
The point is that Mario Marini, he had 2 doctorates, one in civil engineering and another one in theology. Civil engineering from the University of Bologna, and theology from the Gregorian University of Rome. Very sharp man.
Yes.
Very intelligent, and
streetwise too, right?
And very much so. And a man also absolutely 100%. The word to define him would be Catholic.
That's great.
A Catholic would define him perfectly well, as I hope it one day will define me.
Amen.
I hope people remember me as a Catholic.
Yeah.
But the thing was, Marini came from a let me just put it this way, a very difficult family. Without getting into the whole thing, they didn't want him to be a priest.
Wow.
They were communists.
Oh yeah, but Bologna is known for the communists in that area.
Yes, exactly. But so he had to make it on his own. He wanted to be a seminarian, he wanted to be a priest. So he had to depend on financial help, not from his family. His family was well off. Mm-hmm. His father's also a civil engineer. Yeah. It wasn't a problem of money. They wouldn't support him because he wanted to be a Catholic priest.
Oh my gosh.
Very anti-clerical.
Wow.
So he talked to the bishop, and the bishop found a becca. What do you call that? A grant, like a grant?
Sure. Yeah. Someone that would fund him. Yeah.
Yes, somebody who would fund his way through seminary.
Yeah.
And that man happened to be Giovanni Battista Montini.
Oh no, isn't that?
And Montini became Archbishop of Milan, and then Cardinal Montini, and then Pope Paul VI. Right.
Yep.
So every time that Montini, when Cardinal would go to Rome, he sent Marini to Rome to study for his doctorate.
Wow.
At the Collegio Lombardo, right by St. Mary Major's across the street. Every time he would go to Rome, he would ask to see his student that he was supporting, that he was sponsoring. Yes. Sponsoring, not supporting, sponsoring. Yeah. Supportare, we say in Italian and Spanish, but it means sponsoring. And so they got to know each other. When he finished his doctorate, the Pope asked him to join him in the Vatican in the Secretary of State, to be a member of the Secretary of State. Marini said, could it wait 3 years because I've already promised to go to be a missionary in Mexico?
That's great.
Right? Yeah. Now, most people, just right there, Terry, let me just tell you from a clerical point of view, most people would have jumped.
I agree. Are you kidding me?
They would say, the heck with Mexico, the heck with everything else. My career, let me go, right?
Yeah.
No, he said, if it can wait for 3 years, because I've committed to teaching theology in a seminary in Mexico that needed help, right? If it can wait 3 years, that'll be fine. If not, I'm sorry, can't take it.
Wow. Right? What a man.
So
that speaks volumes.
I'm telling you, he was. Anyway, he went to Mexico for 3 years. At the same time, he's in Mexico teaching for 3 years. I'm living at the Mexican College in Rome.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yes.
So he finished his 3-year term and is now going to join the Secretary of State. Where did he come to live? The Mexican College of Rome.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Right. So we met there. I remember very distinctly the night we met in the corridors walking. But anyway, it's another story.
Yeah.
This is a man who is, what you see is what you got.
Yeah, I love it.
Big man, about 6'3", shoulders like this.
Yeah.
A solid man, and a great sense of humor. A great sense. What I liked most about him,
yeah,
he was my confessor, my spiritual
wow,
director, and we became very close friends. But what I liked most about him, I could make him cry.
Why?
I could make him cry laughing.
Oh, I get it.
I could make him laugh so hard that he started crying and would occasionally beg me to stop.
I could just
I loved
picture
it.
that.
I loved it. I loved it. And we had great times together. And there were moments, wonderful moments of in-depth seriousness too.
Well, he helped you with your vocation, correct? He was instrumental in becoming.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was the instrument. Yeah. He wasn't instrumental. He was the instrument.
There you go.
He was the instrument in St. Peter's Square.
Yeah.
At about 11 o'clock at night, after I made a general confession to him, we walked all the way from Castel Sant'Angelo and into the square and remained there. And he invited me. He said, "Did you ever think of becoming a priest?" I've told you this story.
I know. I love this story.
That I said I never had the calling. I don't have the calling. He said, "Well, what do you mean the calling?" I said, "Well, I've never heard an invitation from God saying this is what I want you to do. I haven't had the calling." And he cupped his hands like this and shouted into my ear, said, "Charlie Murr, I want you to be a priest."
That's a great story.
And then he said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, consider yourself called."
That's great.
Right?
What a story.
So about 2 years later, I was ordained a priest, and the rest is history. But
amazing.
Marini, getting back to just Marini, as if it were nothing. Terry, I've got to tell you something. Here in Andalusia, we have had almost a month and a half of nonstop rain.
Really?
It has rained for a month and a half, which is a rarity. When I first got here, we were suffering from 7-year drought.
Yeah.
Right? It never has. And flies are everywhere.
I see them in your studio
everywhere.
there.
I'm like, whoa, and can't get rid of them. Yeah. Anyway. And you know where they're going to land? On top of my bald head is where they're going to land.
Of course, me too. We have something in common there.
That's where they love to land. Yeah. It's diabolical. Flies are diabolical.
So, Father, tell us.
You know that's a title for the devil, don't you?
No.
Beelzebub?
Oh, yeah, Beelzebub, sure, of course.
Beelzebub, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Lord of the Flies.
Oh, my gosh. I never knew that.
That's where the title Lord of the Flies
came
from Beelzebub. Anyway. Look where we are. We're getting all
I love it.
Well,
you know what, Father? Can I just say something?
Back to Marini is this. It's this simple.
Tell us.
He was a great man. He had a great position.
Yeah.
And he knew well enough to remain right where he was in the Vatican.
Awesome.
Because that's where he could help most.
Got it.
He did a tremendous amount of help. And they wanted him, many on the progressive side, Cardinal Baggio wanted him out of the Vatican immediately.
That speaks volumes.
And he'd offered him at least twice to make him bishop of any diocese he wanted. Mm-hmm. But he said, "No, I'll stay right here. Thank you."
So he had a very prominent position in the sense that he knew what was going on, correct? I mean, everything
absolutely.
He like a gatekeeper.
Absolutely.
In one sense.
He was in the Secretary of State. He was secretary to Giovanni Benelli, who was Subsecretary of State. And then to the Congregation for the Clergy, and then to the Congregation for the Sacraments, Divine Worship.
Okay.
And he when he died, he was Secretary of Divine Worship.
Wow.
He did not want to leave there. He felt he could do the best that he could staying in the Vatican, and it didn't matter to him. They finally made him a Monsignor, but he refused that too. He didn't want that. What he wanted was, for love of the church, to be in the place where he could most help to protect the church's interests.
What a great
the faith, because he realized, he told me this many times, he was working with people who had no faith.